this and see. But I got to tell you, my antenna is up. I wrote a book about evil. And in the last century, between Mao and China and Stalin and Russia and Hitler and Germany and Mussolini and Tojo and Japan and the killing fields in Cambodia, over 100 million people were slaughtered. And people think it can't happen again. I disagree. It can happen again. And this madman is even threatening to use nuclear weapons. The question is, what is the best posture? What should the world be doing? My argument is I would bankrupt Vladimir Putin. The one sanction that would work, which is to stop him getting all this money by Western countries importing, including our country, 672,000 barrels of oil a day. We have got to stop, the flow of money into his coffers and produce our own energy. But that still will take time, but at least it would be effective. And then we've got to provide our allies the energy they need. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, I completely agree with you. If you don't deter, and we already done a lot of mistakes. I truly believe the president, played the catch up, and he didn't really have time to catch up. And that's sad, but just going forward, where we are, if you don't deter, you will fight. So you better deter in a strong way with people like Putin. He's just not like this guy that you can just belittle a bit here and there. I mean, he's a serious aggressor with big ambitions, and he was planning it for a while. I mean, you saw maybe his interview a few years ago on Fox News, where he pretty much said, guys, I'm not planning to defend myself, and you're wasting money defending yourself. I have all these new weapons that I'm going to do to attack, to make sure, you can waste your taxpayers' money. I am here on the attack. And this is his posture. But with people like him, you need to have postures that is meaningful. And if you don't take the key assets and paying for his war, buying energy from him, if you don't make financial sanctions where you completely get them out of financial system and have sanctions on central bank and SWIFT to completely get them out. If you are coming and, you don't have put sanctions on some major oligarchs that are closest to him. I was surprised when I look at that list. I'm like, seriously? I know I used to live there. I know it's a very well-known fact who the closest people to him, and we exempted them from status of assets. And I'm thinking, like,
it's the one sanction that would work. Let me ask you this. What would you like the United States to do now under the current circumstances? And what would you like the world to do now under the current circumstances?
I think we have to lead because it's important. Europe, I think, is much better now than before because they understand the threat is serious and real. But they still need United States to lead. There are just too many countries there. Actually, I was impressed. In this circumstance, they actually was leading us. That is what surprising to me. But we still need us and lead to have a serious sanction on energy sector, on financial sectors, and oligarchs. They need to go full speed on that. If he doesn't do ceasefire with a timeline, no ceasefire, sanctions on. You need to start dictating the rules, not reacting on his movement. You make a move, he doesn't, you go forward. You also need to make sure that you have a fast delivery of the lethal aid that was promised to these people so he doesn't kill all of them. And it's extremely important. And protection gear, helmets, and all these different things that they need to protect themselves, not just talk about it and deliver it in a month. I mean, Elon Musk was able to deliver it in 24 hours. And our government takes us several weeks and we cannot deliver stuff. It's ridiculous. Well, then work maybe with the private sector. That's a great example to show how quickly, private sector can get this done. But also work with our international partners to provide safe passages and humanitarian corridors. Because a lot of these people that try and kids and women that are trying to escape are going to be killed. The border is backing up. Poland is getting full. We have to work with our partners and see how we can help people to survive.
I think the best thing that the United States can do and every European country could do right now is as quickly as possible is to provide the munitions, in particular Stinger missiles, the javelins, the anti-tank missiles, so that the Ukrainian people can can at least begin an insurgency and fight back against this massive Russian army that's coming in with including fighter jets, naval attacks, and everything in between. That to me would be the best case scenario. But I fear only 18 miles out, this convoy. I pray to God I'm wrong, Congresswoman, but I see a massacre in the future here, and I understand that people, this is their homeland, etc. But I would like every man, every woman, and child to get out of there right now, so we can at least protect the kids. And I'd like every man to pick up arms, but they have to have arms to be able to pick up. That would be the best defense I think they would have available. Over time, I think an insurgency can absolutely defeat Putin if it was done properly. It's not an easy lift. It's a heavy lift. The Mujahideen did it to the former Soviet Union in the 80s with Stinger missiles. Between javelins and Stingers, I think we can do it. So are we providing enough munitions so that they really can put up a real fight?
I think that's a question that I'm still waiting to see from responses from this administration, because they say one thing and you hear different things from Ukrainians on the ground. They keep saying that we need more help. So I think, this administration needs to take more responsibility, and they either don't understand what it is or don't know what's happening. I know it's complicated, but ultimately we and our allies have commitment, to help them to protect themselves. And they're not willing, not even asking us to go there and fight for them. They just say, we will protect. Just help us not to get slaughtered there. And I think that's something we need to do. But time is of an essence, and unfortunately governments are so slow. So maybe we should be asking Elon Musk to help us out, because I haven't seen this administration moving things as quickly as they should be moving.
By the way, I thought Elon Musk's move to keep communications up and open for the Ukrainian people is an amazing move on his part, and I hope that stays. It's just very, very sad. What are you hearing from the people that you know that live in Ukraine, and what are they telling you?
A lot of horror stories. People, people have been under shock. Now people are angry. People are determined, and people are united to fight. And it's interesting that, I mean, this is not just one person. Several people I talk with, they say, oh no, we're not crying. We are not going to cry. Just give us guns and we're going to fight. And this is women that never had guns in their life, held gun in their life. This is actually people that born in Russia that now live in Ukraine. It's not about Russia and Ukraine. It's about an aggression of a madman who couldn't submit one nation. He submitted Russian, he submitted Belarusian, and freedom-loving Ukrainians said, oh no. He sent police on them, and guess what? 100 policemen, 100 people were killed, and then millions show up next day. Well, to kill millions, now he sent an army. But that's what shows us how important the Second Amendment is, because a lot of these people are now fighting with forks and knives and blankets. And it's so important now. Now every Ukrainian is thinking, women, we want to have guns. Old women. This is a 70, 80-year-old women tell, please give us guns so they don't kill us. But this is kind of a reminder for us that our founding fathers were very smart people when they put that pride in our Constitution to protect us from any tyranny, foreign or domestic. This is actually was the very important right, but they fought British. And that's why they won, and they understand the values. I hope it's a reminder for Americans why the Second Amendment is there and how important it is.
It's just so sad, everything that's happening, and a lot of this, I think, was preventable. And I really, really am angry that a lot of the economic and energy policies that Joe Biden adopted pushed our allies into Putin's arms, and they became dependent on his energy sources when they should have been dependent on their ally providing and meeting their energy needs. That's a big part of the story to me. The fact that the world is still, even the United States, is importing 672,000 barrels of oil from Russia today, and that they won't implement the one sanction that would be effective is inexcusable to me. But I want you to know this, Congresswoman. This audience is praying for your country, praying for you, and praying for those that are bravely